Blake officially joined Katie's season in week 5 of The Bachelorette, and we have all the details. Hey guys, welcome back to another shared news from home. We are so excited to finally talk about Blake's debut, but before we get into it, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. As always, I'm your host, Fiona Zaring, joined by the wonderful Gianna Gravelisi. Gianna, we have been waiting for Blake to join the season now. Were you excited when the moment finally arrived?
Honestly, I was. I mean, this is just one of the major twists that they were talking about way early on before the season even aired. We were speculating, maybe someone from the past would come back. So the fact that it was Blake, I was pretty excited. I mean, I liked Blake. He wasn't problematic in any way. I think he's cute. I think he's funny. I was just really excited to see him finally get there.
I am with you. I actually was really curious to see if their chemistry was going to be what I thought it was, and it certainly didn't disappoint. Let's get into how it all played out. Tayshia had the job of breaking the news to the men that Blake would be joining the house. Certainly not a job I envy. This was not going to be news that they were all going to be thrilled about. They took it, I think, about as well as to be expected. It certainly didn't help that immediately after learning that he would be there, they also had to learn that he would be stealing one of those one-on-ones for the week. Katie did take the time to sit down and answer questions from the guys about her relationship with Blake. Of course, the big one was, do they have some sort of past? Do they know each other? Which, of course, the answer is no. Gianna, I want to know how you think Blake handled that back and forth with the guys after the news, because that is the toughest room, I think, to walk into. What did you think?
Oof. I mean, Fiona, I was honestly like sweating for him. I can't imagine being in that position. You come in the middle. I really don't think it was Blake's decision. I'm going to come in the middle of the season, and his intentions weren't to ruin anything or ruin the relationships that Katie already had going. I think that maybe it was a producer's decision or something, like we said before, to throw in that dramatic twist. We don't know what happened behind the scenes, but I think Blake really did have pure intentions coming into the house, and you could see that the way he talked to the rest of the men. I think he carries himself really well, and I think that he was really respectful. He didn't go in saying, I'm here and I'm here to stay and I don't care what any of you think. He said, I know exactly how you're all feeling right now, and I'll answer any questions. He spoke with the men, and I think that he was really, really nice about it, and he also handled it the best that he could. I mean, I was shocked that no one was kind of like going back and forth with him. The men did ask questions a little bit, and then we do see Katie come in. And I think that the whole situation was really handled nicely. It didn't go down like a dramatic spiral like it normally would in the Bachelor franchise. So I think it went really well.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Listen, I think I was with you too. I was so nervous in those moments because I just keep going back to when we saw Heather come into Nat's season and how that exploded. And at the very least, I mean, it was certainly tense. It was certainly awkward, but it didn't go as poorly as that did. I mean, hello, he's in the house. It certainly went better. So definitely not as bad as it could have been, all things considered. Katie and Blake obviously went horseback riding. They had a little picnic situation for the day portion of their date. And Blake actually shared that he used to be terrified of horses as a kid, so he was being a really great sport during this date. They bonded over a shared love of the outdoors, and I think it was pretty clear to anyone who's watching that they do have a bit of instant chemistry. Katie actually told Blake he was checking all of her boxes. And listen, they ended up making out in the hay. If you were on Twitter, people were talking about it. It was quite the moment. All things considered, I would say he pretty much killed that first impression. I mean, what did you think, Gianna?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you can see their chemistry on screen. Obviously, we've seen Katie's connections with the other guys, but I think, as a fan of this show, you know when it's real and you know when the lead is just not that into it. I think that her and Blake have a lot of physical chemistry. They had that conversation about both being sex positive, and I think that plays a role into how they act intimacy wise with each other. And I think that's another layer that they have that she doesn't have with some of the other men. I feel like when we watch some of the other dates, like with Greg, they even went into how he kind of holds back in things like that. But Blake and Katie have the same vibes, if you will. They are both out there. They're both outspoken. I mean, remember she opened the door and he was in his boxers? Like, he's just so funny. And I don't think that he's afraid to hold back anything. And I think that's what's going to get him really far in this. So, I mean, props to him. He really did kill it. And I mean, I think I'm all for it. I really am.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it seems like he has a lot of confidence that they work. Like, that is something that he just seems to know in his gut. Like, he has no doubts that they work. He just knows he needs to, like, have a shot, get moving. And to your point, I mean, you touched on that conversation they had about being sex positive. Date one, in the evening portion, they really went there. They ended up taking things truly to the next level right off the bat, which I think also says something about their connection. He asked Katie what led her to be, the publicly sex positive, outspoken woman she is today. And Katie actually bravely shared for the second time this season her story about being assaulted in her past. She explained, that this was an impactful part of her life and something she would want her future husband to know. Blake handled the conversation really well and made it crystal clear that he's going to always be supportive of her. By the end of their date, Katie actually revealed that she could see herself walking away at the end of this thing with Blake. I mean, that is truly saying something, Gianna. She obviously, gave him the date rose. What were your thoughts on this evening portion? Because the day was like making up for lost time, checking all of the boxes. But by the end of this evening portion of the date, I would say Blake really got himself there almost as a front runner. Like, he swept her away. What are your thoughts?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I have so many thoughts. First off, the fact that Katie had to have that conversation about what happened to her again, it made me feel sad for her in a way, because as we know, she did tell all the men what happened on that group date when Nick came in a couple episodes ago, and that was hard for her to share. So the fact that she opened up to Blake right away about that, it kind of shows that she's already that comfortable with him. So that's huge. Again, it's unfortunate that that happened to her and she needs to have that conversation. But as she said, it's a big part of her story. And again, the fact that she's sharing it definitely says a lot about how she feels with Blake. And also, Fiona, this is the first time we've heard Katie say, I can see myself walking away with this person. We've seen her say, I can see him kind of going far. Or she said with Thomas before he left, she could have seen him during hometowns. But this is really the first time she's said walking away. And if she hasn't made it clear already, she wants to walk away in an engagement. She wants to walk away with the husband. So the fact that she's saying that about Blake right off the bat, it's huge. And I think that their chemistry is very obvious. I really do think that she really may walk away with him. I mean, as crazy as this is, it's a very high possibility. So we'll just have to see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, her gut reaction to that, it was clearly so strong. And I feel like in a setting like The Bachelorette, you really do just have to trust your gut. So it's going to be really crazy to see where this goes. I mean, obviously there are mixed emotions about Blake, right? Not everybody is Team Blake. Some people are not super on board for the fact that this is going to be, his third Bachelorette, all that jazz. But putting all of that aside, I feel like we're going to see him sticking around at least towards the end of the season, like really, really far. Would you agree?
I absolutely agree. And also, I wanted to point out that it's really not Blake's fault that this is his third Bachelorette. I mean, he was on Claire's season. We all know what happened. It's not like he went into that season being like, okay, there's going to be another Bachelorette that I'm going to have to try for. And, he did hit up Katie during her time on Matt's season. He slid into her DM saying, I admire your confidence and how out there you are. So clearly he had an interest in her before he even knew that she was the Bachelorette. So being in his shoes, if I felt like that about somebody and then I saw that they were the lead, I'd be like, all right, I guess it's time to shoot my shot before she ends up getting married to some other guy. So, I mean, Blake has expressed that he felt it deep down in his gut that he should be with Katie and they should be together and they have this connection. So, again, I really just do think that he's on here for the right reasons, which is like the phrase of this entire season, you know? And he definitely is a contender. He's going to go far. Absolutely.
I actually totally agree with you, but you guys, we want to know your thoughts. How do you think Blake did in his first night of the season? Do you see him going far? Let us know down in the comments. And of course, if you are not already subscribed to our channel, make sure you do. Make sure you ring the bell so you don't miss out on any updates on Katie's season. As always, I'm your host, Fiona Zaring, joined by the wonderful Gianna Gravelisi. If you want to come say hi, check out our socials there on the screen right now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye.